Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Rakhi Gupta. Welcome to my module on managing human resource or just simply human resource management. Friends, I'm going to start off with a brand new topic today, but just to revise as to what we did in the last one, we talked about a lot of things related with wage and salary administration from pin to plain. What is the meaning of salary, wages, or what are the objectives, what is the importance, and above all in the last lecture I discussed about the various types of incentive plans. So today I'm going to start off with a very new topic which is again very pertinent, and the topic that I'm going to talk about today is all related with the workers' participation in management. So we know we have been talking since long things related with the employees or the employers. So one of the ways of making the people happy and satisfied is the way by which we make them participate in the affairs of the management. So today we are going to discuss that what is the meaning of workers' participation, what is its importance, objectives, and above all, what are the ways by which people can be a part of the administration in their decision making or maybe in their policy making. Let's go and start now. So, as you can see on the screen, that workers' participation in management is nothing but is just an important ingredient in the industrial democracy. And the concept of workers' participation as management is on the human relation approach. Now, this is very essential. Why are we talking about the human relation approach? Because we know that in any organization, the biggest asset is the people. And we have discussed so many lectures, and every now and then we keep saying that the trust, respect, and support has to be maintained. People have to be very satisfied, and the most effective and productive people, they have to be retained in the organization. So this is one of the ways by which we can give that kind of satisfaction to the employees. Workers' participation in management implies mental and emotional involvement. This is a key highlighting part of workers in the management of enterprise. It is considered as a mechanism where workers have a say in decision making. Now, at times what happens is that at times we know that we've also learned about leadership. There are a lot of styles of leadership that we discuss, but at times there is an autocratic style of leadership where we discussed that the people or leaders, they are more bossy kind of people. So here, when you have that kind of autocratic style of leadership, you do not have a say in the decision making. So a leader who's a democratic in style will definitely facilitate workers' participation in the management, and a person will always have a say in the affairs of the company. So according to Keith Davies, participation refers to the mental and emotional involvement of a person in a group situation which encourages him to contribute to the group goals and share the responsibility of achievement. Then, according to ILO, workers' participation may broadly be taken to cover all the terms of association of workers, their representatives, with the decision-making process. My dear friends, you have to bear in mind that the decision-making process, the word is very essential. Reason being, if your views and ideas and suggestions are taken also, and if we have something known as the organizational ostracism, people are not listening to you, people are not honoring you, they are giving you neglected attitude, or you are feeling oblivious, and they are not listening to your views also, or you do not have any say in the decision making. So naturally the person will feel demotivated, and once a person feels demotivated, it has its own negative repercussions. So naturally workers' participation in management is one of the ways by which people feel happy and satisfied, motivated. The morale of the entire team and the group is always high, which will eventually result in the success of the organization, and we can always increase the organizational efficiency also. So the principles that we talk about in the workers' participation, but prior to that, let me give you a gist of some of the features also related to the workers' participation. We know that here we are trying to increase the share of influence. There's a new word, share of influence, that everyone is trying to influence or having a say in the decision making. And naturally here in the workers' participation, there is an acceptance of the responsibility also. Then here, it's not necessary that people, they contribute as an individual, but they are actively participative in the management affairs in the form of group representatives. And of course, the main rationale for workers' participation in its management is that the workers will invest their labor and their fates to their place of work. So we know that it is more of a group concept where we have got a share of influence and the responsibility is also taken. So let's talk about something which is known as the principles of workers' participation in management. Now, the workers' participation in management basically works on the following principle. There should be a democratic environment. Now, my dear friends, when we talk about the democratic environment, it must be sounding quite similar to you, like we did something related with democratic leadership. So, democratic leadership is again where the leader says, let's go and let's do it. The leader is also taking into cognizance the views and the suggestions of the other person. So is the case here also in the democratic management, where management feels that I should also take into consideration the viewpoints of the people who are working, because eventually it will be the policies and the management strategies that would be formulated at the top level. But however, who are the people who are going to implement it? It is none other than but the people. So they feel that people, they should have a say in the management, and generally it is not in the individual level, but when we take a bigger picture, it is in the form of group associations. It leads to the maximum collaboration among the company. Reason being, because again, now once people are made to participate in the affairs of the company, the main purpose or the rationale behind is to have a very cohesive group. So once we have a very cohesive group where we have group thinking, group decision making, group communication, so definitely the results are multifold, and then definitely the phenomenal or the exponential heights of the company can be achieved very easily. Then the participation concept had the least state intervention. There is less of the intervention of the state. The workers' participation in management presents a better social justice in company working. That means people feel happy and satisfied. There is a lot of positivity all around. This principle leads to more efficiency in the company. Organizational health improves with this concept. So my dear friends, when we are talking about the organizational health, we are also talking something related with the organizational culture, the environment. So one of the best ways of increasing the organization culture is to have that kind of participation in the management. So the workers, they should feel that yes, this is my organization, or they have that sense of belongingness and they are giving their best to attain the predetermined objectives of the company. Then there should be a willingness for the company owners and employees to work together. This is very essential. You cannot make anyone, or there cannot be any kind of coercion between the two. So there has to be a willpower that okay, the management is also willing that okay, the workers, they should be a part of the organization, and simultaneously the workers or the employees, they should also feel that yes, I'm an important part of the company and I will surely take up the additional responsibility and contribute towards the success of the company. Then there are different levels of participation in the management, but again we have to bear in mind that why we are talking about the workers' participation, because we are trying to increase the performance level of the people, the morale level, and of course we are also trying to increase the TRS. So I'm sure by this time you know what is the meaning of TRS. It is the trust, respect and support from the employees. So people, they can be made to participate in the affairs of the company in different levels. However, there are 5 levels that you can see on the screen that they are actually used for the participation. Now, the first one happens to be the informative participation, consultative, associative, administrative and decisive. So in the case of informative participation, this kind of participation actually refers to the management's information sharing with workers on special items which are concerned with the workers. For example, anything which is related with production, economic condition, or maybe the balance sheet, or maybe some money part. So these are the such example of such items. And here we know that the company is very open with the employees regarding the, you know, like the financial health, how the company doing, how the company progressing, so on and so forth. However, it is very important to note that here workers have no right of close scrutiny of the information. It's just the information that is being passed on by the management to the workers. And again, it is the prerogative of the management to make decisions on the issues concerned with the workers. So it's just a kind of one-sided affair that okay, the information is being shared, but ideally the the role of taking a decision is actually missing. The second one that you see is the consultative participation. Basically, in this type of participation, my dear friends, workers are consulted in those manners which are actually related to them. So here the role of workers is restricted to their views only. They are being consulted, but there is no no surety that their views and ideas and suggestions, they would be taken up. So there can be acceptance also, and there can be non-acceptance of the views also, depending upon the management. But nonetheless, it provides an opportunity to the workers to express their views on matters which are revolving to their interest areas. So this is very, very essential. The third one is the associative participation. So here the role of the workers' council, I'll just discuss what is the meaning of workers' council also. They have more than an advisory role, and the management morally obligated to accept and implement the council's unanimous decisions, which are in favor of the employees only. So definitely there are committee councils that are made, and the suggestions given by them, they have to be implemented by the management. Then we have got something known as administrative participation. So here workers implement decisions that have already been made by management, and here, as compared to the former three levels above, the participation, the degree of sharing authority and responsibility is definitely more, because you are being a part of the administrative participation. And lastly, it talks about the decisive participation. Workers and management, they jointly make decisions on topics such as production, employee welfare, and of course any aspect of the employment. So what we see is, like in the case of the levels of participation also, at times there can be direct participation, there can be indirect participation. So if it is there indirect participation, the employees participate in more of the managerial decisions directly and individually also. But ideally, when we talk about the workers' participation, it is more in the form of the group, or through representatives, or through official bodies. So here in the case of this levels of participation, at times they have a say, at times they do not have the say, at times they have to just follow whatever the management says. But ideally, we know that which level they are participating, it is important for the mental health of the, or the development of the people on the whole. So of course why do you think that workers are made to participate in the affairs of the company? Because actually the issues that are discussed, they are all related with the environment, or all related with the organization, factory or establishment. And we know that people or workers, they understand the groundwork better. So if they are made to participate, there would be higher satisfaction, that would lead to fewer turnovers, and as a result, every company would also include a person who can give them good ideas or help them in decision making related to the mental health or financial health of the company. So naturally, what happens is, at times in order to avoid any kind of disputes, or when workers and people, they come at crossroads, so then this is one of the best ways to avoid them, and definitely it will help people to be more acceptable, or not to have those kind of conflicting attitude amongst them, and then naturally they can move forward. So these were the levels of workers' participation in the management, and ideally we know that workers, they are made to participate in the affairs of the management through information ways, consultation ways, or maybe through administrative, or giving a say in the decision making. So ideally what will happen, that if workers, they are made to do that, there will be more efficiency in the company, organizational health will always improve with this concept, and above all, there will be maximum collaboration among the workers, employees and the company. So ideally, let's have a look at it. What are the main objectives of workers' participation? So ideally, you know what is the meaning of workers' participation, or we also know that what are the methods by which the workers they made to participate in the affairs of the company. So what are the main objectives? Let's have a look at it. Establish democracy in industry. Now we know that whichever industry, organization or institution or firm we are working, that democracy is very, very essential. So democracy is always related with peace. We always say that the peace and democracy has to be maintained. So how do we get that peace? When people are happy and satisfied, they do not create any ruckus, there are no strikes, there are no picketing, there are no gheraos, and people are willing, or they are self-motivated. If you remember, we had a lecture on discipline also. People are self-motivated, self-disciplined, so that they are able to contribute to the success of the company. Then to improve the working condition, So as I told you that these representatives, they are very closely associated with the people, they know about the groundwork realities, so they are in a better position to tell the management what is the reality or what is the need of the workers or the employees, so that management can take up actions, and management shows an inquisitiveness that yes, they are eager to solve their problems at the earliest. My dear friends, if you remember, we already had a session on grievances. The sooner the grievances are sorted out, the better it is for the company and for the people also. Satisfaction of the workers is important. We all know what are the repercussions of being a satisfied worker. A satisfied worker will always be exerting higher levels of their effort to take the organization to the next level. And naturally, if people are happy and satisfied, they can also increase the morale of the people of the other department also. So ultimately, what is more important is that once people are happy and satisfied, there can be lot of cohesiveness, lot of coordination, lot of cooperation, which is essential for the growth of the company. Then strengthen labor management cooperation. So naturally, I should make it very clear to you that there are two words. One is cooperation and one is coordination. At times people, they get confused. So if anybody asks you what is the difference between the two, you should be able to make it out very clearly. Now, cooperation is something which actually comes voluntary. You are ready to cooperate with the management, you are ready to cooperate with your superiors, you're ready to cooperate with your subordinates. But when we talk about the coordination, it is actually the blending of the efforts of everyone in the company. So if the management is happy, if the workers are happy, if the employees are happy, so naturally the cooperation will automatically come. And so I'm sure you have heard so many lectures of mine, and every now and then I keep talking about the word TRS, that is trust, respect and support. So naturally, when you're loyal to the company, you're committed, you're focused, you're increasing the productivity, performances, and the profitability of the company is also going up. So naturally, you're willing to support the company, and the company is also willing to support you. Maintains peace and harmony because people are satisfied, so naturally there will be no bottlenecks, there will be no hindrances. Then there would be increased productivity. Why? My people are happy, so the motivation level and the morale level both are high. Morale is at the group level, please mind it, and motivation is at the individual level, right? So as an individual, you are highly motivated, and as a morale, the team is very highly motivated, or the morale is very high. And we have already done the topic on this motivation, so we know that morale is directly related with the productivity. So high morale, high productivity, and that is what the management wants. Then recognition of the workers. Now what happens is recognition of the workers, we say that one of the good ways to make the people happy and satisfied is R&R, that is reward and recognition. So even if the slightest efforts that have been put in by the workers or the employees in the organization, if they are appreciated or recognized or rewarded in some way or the other, naturally it will lead to the higher satisfaction level. So even if people, they are participating in any form, either in the informative form, associative form, or participative or decision making, whatever it is. So if their efforts are being recognized, or even if they are giving some kind of suggestion, or they are giving some kind of ideas, and these ideas and suggestions, if they are acceptable, or if they are accepted by the management, or they are very fruitful in solving a particular kind of problem, so naturally one little pat on the back of the workers or employees will definitely boost up the morale of the entire team. So one of the ways to do that is workers' participation. So that is one of the objectives. Then we know the reduced turnover. We know that if people are happy and satisfied, they have that R&R. So naturally, they would like to stay in the company. They would not like to move on to the another company. So the retention rate would be high, and that is what actually company wants. Because we know that what is the meaning of turnover? Turnover is basically the rate at which new people are joining the company and old people are leaving the company. So naturally, most of the desirable situation is the rate of turnover should be the minimum, because people, they should be happy and satisfied. So if they are happy and satisfied, there would be lesser absenteeism, lesser accident rates, and the turnover would be very less. So if people are happy and satisfied, their morale level is high as a result. Why they are happy and satisfied? Because they are giving a say, their views and ideas and suggestions, they are being taken into consideration, they are being informed at every level. So one always gets the feeling of importance. So naturally, it will one of the objectives of the WPM, that is workers' participation in management, is to reduce the rate of turnover. and of course to promote job security and resolves conflict. So once workers, they are participated in management, you have to understand one thing very important. There is a word which is known as communication. So whenever the participation is there, there's a free flow of communication that is happening between the management and the workers and the employees. So naturally, all the doubts, they are dispelled, all the misunderstandings, they are all gone. So as a result of that, people feel happy and satisfied. They have that sense of job security, and above all, they know that any point of time, if they have any grievance or any dispute, so all those things, they can be settled very easily. So now let's have a look at it. What are the different ways of workers' participation? This is again the chart from my book only, HRM by Dr. Rakhi. So following are the ways of workers' participation in the management. As you can see, for example, suggestion method, co-partnership, representation on the board of directors, profit sharing, quality circle, joint management councils and work committees. Let's talk about the suggestion method. Now, for example, suggestion schemes may also be introduced for creating interest in the work by announcing a very, very suitable reward for original and useful suggestions. So if an employee or the group of employees are giving a suggestion to the management, and if they are acceptable and they are very useful and very original, so naturally people will be happy and satisfied. So naturally what happens is, like any kind of novel suggestions coming from workers, they are always welcomed by the management, and definitely this would increase the importance of the workers in the entire structure, thereby encouraging the workers to be more interested in the affairs of the company, or in problem solving, or in decision making, and helping the company to grow further. The second is the co-partnership, for example. Now, co-partnership, what it says, it is a means of workers' participation in the management and is basically viewed as a leading to industrial democracy. Now, under this co-partnership, what happens is that the employees, they get shares of the company. Now, when anybody is getting the shares of the company, that means they are getting something kind, what we can say is co-ownership. So if you are giving that kind of importance, maybe as a co-ownership, so naturally people are very happy and satisfied. And this is made possible because the shares of the profit is not paid in cash, but the company shares are issued. And these shares, again, they are all NAV based, and if the company is progressing, or if the company is doing well, so if the NAV goes up, so of course their wealth also goes up. So this is more of a concept related with wealth maximization or something like that. So naturally they become the stakeholders, and hence they are entitled for the participation. But however, this co-partnership, my dear friends, it also suffers from some limitations. At times, people may not be interested. So this is the biggest drawback that is associated with the co-partnership, that people, they want the share in the profit in cash, but they do not want it in the form of the shares. Whereas there can be certain group of people who would be interested in shares rather than in cash. Then the next one that we have is representation on the board of directors. So under this method, representatives from the workers, they are given a seat. Please mind the word seat. They are given a seat on the board of directors of the company, and the best part is that they enjoy all the privileges, all the benefit that comes to the directors. So others, they also enjoy the same, and they have a say in the management. Okay, whatever they say, the people will listen, and or we can say in the decision making process, anything which is related with the policies and procedures. And definitely one of the very effective methods of workers participation in management. And these representatives, they can be either nominated or they can be elected by the unions, and we all know that a lot of people, they are associated with the trade unions only. The next one that we have got is all related with the profit sharing. So of course, the profit sharing, it can come in the form of bonus, it can come in the form of cash. Then we have got something known as the quality circles, where we have the group of people who are working together, which will provide in the quality improvement and the self development. So quality circles first originated in Japan in the year 1962, and this is one of the best ways to do that. So this is the co-partnership that I just discussed. Then this is the quality circle. So naturally the teams are formed to discuss and evaluate and solve the problems. So one of the very effective ways of workers participation. So definitely when they are made to participate in the affairs of the company, the work-life balance can also be maintained. Then another way is of the works committee. So these committees are basically the consultative bodies, and they will be dealing, these committees, they are responsible for the things related with the normal course of employment, anything which is related with the working condition, or so these are the things like ventilation, temperature, etc. So these are the things works committee would be giving their suggestion and they would be participating. Then profit sharing, as I told you, they would be more interested in getting the share in the profits because they feel that profits have been generated because of the efforts that have been put in by the people. So they are entitled for the profit sharing. Then group making, in the form of this participation, the decision making power is delegated to a group. So this is again one of the very good ways of delegation, and people feel empowered and they feel that okay, they have the authority, they have the say to anything which is for the betterment of the entire company. So naturally this is one of the very effective ways of doing it. Then the suggestion schemes we've already discussed, the representation on the board we have discussed. The one which is left is talks about the joint management council. Now, joint management councils basically they are the bodies or they are the consultation between the management and the employees or workers to maintain the industrial peace and democracy. So here it's a kind of a voluntary body, and they have actually received lot of recognition also, and under this system the consultative committees, they are actually set up, and the representatives of both the employers and the employees are there, and they would be advising people on the various matters. So as an obligation, generally management accept the recommendations or the views that have been given by the joint management councils, and again these matters, they are all related to the matters of the workers or maybe the health, safety, welfare and other aspects. So now we know that they were the different forms of participation. Now let's have a look at the merits of workers' participation. So my dear friends, as you can see on the screen, again this is a chart from my book only, HRM by Rakhi Gupta. So these are the merits of the workers' participation in management. For example, there is always a mutual understanding when people, they are made to participate in the affairs of the company. Then of course it fosters the personal development because there is some kind of empowerment which is being given to them. They feel elated, they feel happy, they feel satisfied, there's a sense of responsibility for them. For example, if anybody is recruited on the boards of directors, they are entitled to get the privileges, and then they start feeling that okay, I have a responsibility. So it's more into the personal development. Then efficiency of the workers will increase because why we are talking about the efficiency? Because these people are happy and satisfied, motivated, the trust, respect and support is very high. Then they would definitely focus more on the work that they are doing it, and there would be lesser accident rates, and when there are lesser accident rates and less wastage, naturally the productivity is high. Just to reiterate myself, if we talk about the productivity is nothing but it's all into E, efficiency and effectiveness, right? So efficiency and effectiveness. So the efficiency of the people will also go up. So naturally, because of the workers' participation in the management, it will reduce the misunderstandings, or it will avoid any kind of dispute. Even if there is any kind of conflict or dispute, they can be mutually settled. So naturally what will happen is that it will help the company to grow exponentially very high, and the growth figures will be very nice to witness, and there would be high, better or increase in the productions, or democracy would be there would be less chances of resistance to change and industrial peace. My dear friends, I would like to put it to your notice that resistance to change is a very big advantage that we get out of the workers' participation in management. Reason being, any kind of changes, if the management wants to bring about any changes in the production or in the process or any policy, people, they are always resistant to change. They would not like to accept the changes so easily. But in case if there is a good camaraderie, there is good understanding, there is a good wavelength matching, or the wavelengths are matching between the management and the workers or the employees, so naturally they would be ready to accept the changes if they understand the benefits of the changes that are being brought about by the management. So why workers' participation is important? Because it's for the participation, it's for the collaboration, it's for the organizational health and effectiveness, and this organizational health is some way or the other related with the organizational culture. And when we have this organizational culture, naturally if the culture of any organization is good, naturally the goodwill of the company is also going up, and goodwill of the company is going up, so naturally it has its own set of advantages coming with it. And then we know know that there's a minimum intervention, greater social justice, people are happy, there's a lot of peace and democracy maintained in the company. But however, my dear friends, apart from the advantages, there are certain problems that can arise in the participation in India. And it says that at times workers' participation in management is probably the most misunderstood and misused concept in the management of affairs between the management and the workers. But however, there are certain problems also which is quite obvious, and there are a number of reasons for it. For example, there can be some kind of double roles that can be played by the management and the workers, and workers may not be enthusiastic about the changes, as I was just discussing about the change management. So people are resistant to changes, but in case if they are able to understand the benefits of the changes that are being brought about, then only then they can accept it. But otherwise it is very, very difficult. And then participation can delay decisions. Why participation can delay decisions? The reason being is the people who are a part of the management or the representatives, they are novice. They do not have much knowledge. So in case if they do not have much knowledge, they have to go back to the company's philosophy or policies and procedures, and then only then they can take decisions. So a lot of information or prior information is needed, which can act as a detriment in the effective participation of the workers in management. Then decision quality may decrease with multiple opinions. Naturally, the quality of decisions that are being taken is decreasing because people are new or people are not aware. There can be lack of information, lack of data, whatever. So naturally, the kind of quality of decision that is churning out, it's not very encouraging. Then increased disputes if any party becomes stubborn. So naturally, at any point of time, the disputes can go up and they can flare up at any point of time if both the parties, they do not agree or they do not come to the consensus on any particular issue. And then managements are often perceived differences in social status, their education and their awareness between the parties. This is very important. Boss will always remain the boss. Then the landowner will always remain the landowner. The owners will remain the owners no matter whatever you do. So at times this is more of a kind of a psychological blockage that comes in the effective participation of the workers and the management because of the education level, because of the social status that they enjoy and kind of autonomy these management people exercise. Then the unions find themselves party to the decision. So again, they are the big disturbance creators. And it is also clear that the real participation cannot be continued for long in the current test. It may prove successful in particular context and particular crisis, but it's very, very difficult to sustain when conditions improve or change completely. So any kind of participation from the workers, it is not for a longer period of time. It will change with time as the time demands. So, but we know one thing, that the participation always satisfies the people's higher order needs, and most of the people in the organization, they aim at earning that kind of goodwill or being a part of the system. But of course, they will not remain in the system for a longer period of time. So that's all that I have for you all, my dear friends, in this topic of workers' participation in management. Just in a nutshell, I hope you understand what is the meaning of workers' participation in an organization, or what are the objectives that we actually reap, or why it is important for workers to be a part of the decision making of the entire structure, just to keep up their satisfaction level high, motivation level high. And of course, if they are happy and satisfied, they would be retained. And of course, once they are retained, so naturally the company can go on to the next level with exponential growth figures. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for a brand new topic in the next lecture.